Toy is so broken. Mm-hmm.
Hey everybody, this is Double Dog underscore 88 going live. Finishing up our conversation from this morning. Can you give me a water, Jay? Let's have that conversation. So earlier today we talked about literally we have to know what was the crime that we're looking at to understand a lot of the different possible case scenarios and who was involved in what, right? Now, there's a lot of people that have different theories. Every investigator has different thoughts and processes on what they're looking for. Some might suggest that they're looking for a car because, a car is easier to find than a human being, and that is true. No doubt about it. But we do have to understand what is the crime. If it's a burglary attempt, then that's anything could be taken, right? Truck, van, car, little, big, small. If it's a basically if it's that, that's what you're looking at. Now if it's something like what we talked about earlier, a possible kidnapping, well, then a car would really be a good fit because you're going to be looking for that vehicle that would be able to carry that, right? It would be highly doubtful that there's going to be taking her on an ATV, motorcycle for that. So you're going to look at something that stands out, hopefully, or something that is in the area, that's going to give that thought process something doesn't look right. But understand that every investigator has different views and thought process when they try to process a crime scene. For me, I like to know what I'm looking at. What am I actually looking at? Am I looking at a unaliving? Am I looking at a SA? Am I looking at a kidnapping for ransom? Am I because that kind of tells you how the narrative's going, and it also can tell you that if you probably are dealing with more than one perp or possibly two, three, or four perps, right? Just really depends. If it's an unaliving, well, it doesn't take much for somebody to come in and unalive somebody, right? That's just common sense. So I really like to know what am I looking at. And earlier today, we were covering some things as to what would be the one thing that really played out. And we talked a lot. And pretty much the consensus was that, in my opinion, as law enforcement background, it would probably be a kidnapping for ransom that went wrong. That's what my conclusion had concluded by looking at what we have, looking what was done, looking what wasn't taken. All those factors are very important. Okay, they're very important. So the idea is that's where we were at. Now we're looking at we established a fact earlier of it's probably literally a kidnapping gone wrong, right? Kidnapping for money. The next thing is we were looking at, well, how did they do it? Because you had blood at the front door on going outside of the house. You had blood at the front door, blood splatter, should I be more specific. And you also had blood on the stoop area going down the sidewalk, the walkway. So common sense would tell you that it's probably the front. However, who opened the doors? Was it the perps that came in and opened the doors? Was it somebody that was trying to make it confusing for law enforcement to try to figure out by leaving the back doors open, prompt open, with a planter holding it open? Was the idea that they were going to come out the back until something went wrong and then she became unalive, and then it was just a matter of taking her and getting her out of there? Or that she even fought back like most of us suspect she did, Nancy, right? If she fought back, well, then it may have been, you know, at all costs, let's get her out of here. Let's get the hell out of here and go, right? At whatever cost. You know, it's that old theory. You're just dragging, pulling, grabbing. It doesn't matter what she hits. She could have hit her head. She could have hit her door. They could have hit her. They could have caused that bleeding to happen. So there's a lot of elements in there that you also have to look at, okay? Because it's not that simple. Even when you're dealing with an 84-year-old who's possibly knows that her life is seriously in danger, yeah, it's a flight or fight, right? Flight or flight. That's the old law enforcement terminology. You're either going to fight or you're going to take off in flight, fight or flight stage. In this case with Nancy, it could have been literally the fight stage, literally, that you're either going to fight back for your life or you're not. That's simple. That's simple. So I would like to think, and I believe in my heart, that that's what Nancy did. She went ahead and she fought for her life. And she probably gave them some good ones as well. If she's going to go out, she might as well go out fighting because she knows this doesn't look good. I say that not to put ideas in people's head. I say that so that you can understand the magnitude of what you're dealing with, right? If you're dealing with something it's a life or death situation, well, it's only one thing to do, folks, and that's give it all you got, in my opinion. And you're going to know how serious it is by maybe who's involved, how many are involved, you know, how are they treating you in the process. You're going to understand these dynamics, right? Just common sense. You're going to know. Okay, so, and then you get to the point of, well, did they want something from her? Did they want information from her? Jameson is in the house. How you doing, Jameson? So you're going to have a lot of different thoughts on that, right? They may have wanted something from her that she wasn't willing to give. They might have wanted, let's just say, where is your, for all sake and purposes, do you have a will? Where's it at? Do you have a trust? We're going to change it. You know, where is it? That type of thing. So then, you know, you start thinking outside the box and possibly is family involved? Could be. I mean, 84-year-old going missing, you're probably looking at a 92% chance that it's somebody that knows her, right? Doesn't happen very often. That's just common sense. And not just common sense, but those are statistics that prove that. Okay? Those are statistics that are factual, not made up. So then you got to ask yourself, how do you go about dealing with this? Okay? Now, yes, we talked earlier this morning about blood splatters in different part of the front of the stoop of the house and on the porch. We didn't talk about why they didn't take the rug because that was crucial. They should have took that front doormat, rolled it up, put it in a paper sack, tag it and bag it, and the story. Okay, because that could tell a lot. There could be a lot of stuff on there that you just can't see with your naked eye. For whatever reasons, they didn't decide to take it. Okay, but the idea is that you're looking at everything possible, fibers from that. You know, what is it if they were to, let's just say hypothetically, that they stopped a vehicle from committing this heinous crime, okay? Let's just say, for one sake of purpose, let's say they stopped a vehicle. Let's say the person that was screaming from the blue car, let's just say. And let's say they were able to go back and get that blue car again and search it one more time or look at it one more time. And they were able to go ahead and find some of those specific fibers that are on that doormat, right? It would be a big opening, right? But if you're not looking for that, you're not checking it. Now, at the time when that car was stopped, yes, no one knew Nancy was taken, right? Because it was early in the morning, 1:48, 2-ish, okay? Nancy was taken. So the idea that an officer is going to check for different things like that is slim to none. All he's going to check is, hey, we got a 911 call stating that Someone was yelling for help. This is where we're at. We want to know everything okay, what's going on. They described your vehicle, yada, yada, yada. In that process, they're going to say, oh, officer, we just got into an argument, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Everything's cool. No one hit each other. Everything's fine. We're good. At that point, that officer's going to shine his light, look inside, look around, and then's going to say, 10-8, this is 23 headquarters. Go ahead. Be advised, located the vehicle. Everything looks okay. Spoke to the driver and the occupants in the vehicle. Stated everything's good to go. No marks, no bruises, just a verbal dispute. I'll be 10-8. And they're gone. Literally, they're gone. The problem is, in that same process, we don't know if they knew that they were probably heard by somebody. For all we know, they could have been in the car looking towards a direction of a house and seen a person standing right there who made the 911 call. We don't know that. So in their mind, they could have very easily said, "Oh no, let's take her out of the car. Let's take her somewhere real quick. Take her out of the car, do away with it, come back later." And this is stating that she is unalive. Okay, because they're not going to put somebody who's alive there. Marianne, hello, Dee Dee. Hello, Marianne. So this is not going to be something where they're going to do this as she's alive. You got to understand, she's at this point, because of the disconnection between the pacemaker and her phone that was left on her dresser in her house, that would explain the connection, right? The disconnection, if you will. So understanding that, okay, it is very probable that they unalive her somewhere in that process, or she became unalive. They got her out of the car. They put her somewhere where they could come back later, just in case, until things died down. And sure enough, they got stopped. Hey, there was no one in the car other than the people. Okay? And so it's not so much what the cop saw, it's what the cop didn't see, that there was another person in there. Now, what would it draw attention to her? No, I haven't yet, Marianne. I haven't watched it yet. So now the idea is that literally, now you look at that and you say to yourself, okay, you're not looking for Nancy. But I tell you what, if I'm working patrol and I saw a lady in her pajamas with no shoes, looking like she's just, worn out, I'm going to ask her questions. Hey, does she need an ambulance? Is she okay? What's going on here? What's happening? And then everything's going to start clicking. Somebody screaming for help, blah, 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 blah. You see how that works? Your mind is going to start taking out. Even though you don't know nothing of what happened to Nancy, right? You don't know she's been taken. You do know this is an odd scenario. Early in the morning, no shoes, in her pajamas. Looks like she's maybe unalive or she's just out of it. You're definitely going to ask questions more than likely. That's my point. It's not always what you see, it's what you don't see. So I use that example to tell you that, yes, there's always, and that's how you got to patrolling. You are looking for what? You're looking for the unknown situation. You're looking for that something that stands out. That's something that shouldn't be there. Something that doesn't make sense. That's what you're looking for. That's why you're patrolling, right? You're looking if somebody's crawling through a building or a window or whatever, right? All dressed in black with a flashlight. Well, you know what that is? It's probably somebody doing something wrong or somebody that's getting ready to do something they shouldn't be doing, right? Committing a crime. So a lot of these things, you're trained for this as law enforcement in your mind, right? You're trained for it. Greg Watkins, Trump, American Pride. So you're really, that's the main thing, okay? That's the main thing. You're trained for this. You're trying to get it. You're trying to figure it out. You're looking for that anomaly that just looks way out of place. That's why it's important. That's an example of why if the officer did say, well, something doesn't look right, and they ended up calling for backup and doing the whole 9 yards, and then maybe calling for forensics, they could have checked the carpet. Next thing you know, they find fibers from the house. I mean, it's all a lead going to somewhere. That's why it was crucial for them, in my opinion, to take literally that doormat at that front door, put it in a paper sack, tag it, and bag it. Simple as that. But I will, Marianne, I will watch that. So what I'm giving you is literally how it probably what I would have looked for. Everybody's different. Everybody does things differently. You know, the outcome of the same thing of what you're looking for is all the same, right? The outcome is you're looking for that strange anomaly that shouldn't be there or shouldn't be happening. Because that's what you do in law enforcement when you patrol. Okay? So that's one thing you're looking at. But the idea that you're going ahead and not taking that carpet, you're never going to know that fiber doormat that could bite you in the ass down the road. So there was a reason, I don't know, maybe inexperience played a role that they didn't take that doormat. It's possible. It's very possible. I mean, very, very possible. Indian Kimberly, hello, DD Dog. Right back at you. Thank you, Kimberly. Indiana Kimberly. Donald Trump is the GOAT. Well, good. But right now we're not talking politics. We are talking literally about Nancy Guthrie. We can have that discussion about who's the GOAT and who's not the GOAT and who's the dog and who's not the dog and who is a dumbass and who's not a dumbass. But right now it's Nancy Guthrie. So the idea literally is that's what we're looking for. Okay? That's what we're looking at. That's what we're trying to figure out. As we talked earlier today, those were some of the things that we pointed out. So now we're looking at who could have done this. And we started covering all these different people. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate you. Now we're talking about all these other things that could be associated with Nancy. Okay? Things like who could have done this? Who had a motive to do this? Who was hurting? April, hello everyone. Welcome. No politics in the chat, please. Thank you. So the idea is that we have to try to figure out who fits that. Who was acting strange? Who was acting odd? Who was like, even after the effect, when all this came out of Nancy being gone missing, who was the people that seemed kind of like really odd out there? And you look at the body language, you look at the way they're talking, you look at these people, what they're saying. Well, right away, you get a person that comes up to the forefront, like, for example, LD, right? So LD comes out. Apparently, his name is mentioned in some way, shape, or form. I don't know much about the case, just hear bits and pieces. Got you, Greg. But the idea is that it is very possible that when LD was getting some slack because of something he might have said or something might have said, hey, this guy looks like this guy. Next thing you know, he's trying to defend himself. So he goes on Brianna Whitney's crime channel, the live, the newscaster in Tucson, and tries to defend himself when in fact all he did is incriminate himself probably even more. You understand what I'm saying? And those are the little things, the little tidbits that you look for. It's those little things that can make all the difference in the world. Growski, good evening, everyone. No, you're good, Indiana Kimberly. You're good. You're good. So now we're looking at the fact. Now we're looking at the fact he brought this to the table himself by his demeanor, by his actions, by his words, by what he said, by what he didn't say. The comments that he made to the cops when he got pulled over. I can't stress that enough. That is so not normal. To tell the cops, did you stop me because of Nancy? Is this about Nancy Guthrie? No one does that, folks. No one does that. I know I repeated this so many times, but it's because it's so important. No one does that. And no one tells the cop the second thing that comes out of your mouth is not why you stopped me. It's You can look at my phone if you want. I didn't have it with me Saturday night. It was on my dresser. And then having that literally conversation with Brianna Whitney from Tucson, the crime reporter, he confirms that he said that. That's not normal. Let's just be frank and honest. That's not normal. It's okay. It was mentioned and now we know, no problem. So the idea is that now you have a lot of information coming in, all by the individual. That makes that individual more probable that you definitely want to talk to him, right? And even though they did do a search warrant for his vehicle at Culver's, and even though they did search the house that his mom and he lived at, okay, even though they did that, that doesn't mean they can't go back and do it again, right? That doesn't mean they can't go do it again. They could very go back and do it again and ask more questions as time has gone on, right? What did you mean by this when you said this? Why did you say this to the officers when they stopped you? Why did you bring this up when the officers asked, when they went to stop you before the officers even said anything to you? Why did you make this comment? And we know you did because you even confirmed it after this all happened and you went on Brianna Whitney's channel. You stated that you did this. Why? Why would you do that for? That's not normal. And then hammer from that perspective. You follow me? So the idea is now is that we literally, you have something there with this individual. That's just one. That's just one individual. That's not many, that's one. But that's a big one because he's going to have to explain again. If you talk to him when he was literally, you were serving him, right? You were literally serving him his search warrant. And then he does all this afterwards. Well, you're going to bring it back in and you're going to say, hey, we're going to have another talk again. And this time we wanted you to answer these questions. Why did you say X, Y, and Z? Follow me? Nothing says that once you talk to him, you can't talk to him again. No doubt about it. It doesn't mean that. Marianne says, I agree, April. April says he kind of made himself look suspicious. No doubt about it. It was so obvious. So now you can take him back there, have that interview again, and have him answer those questions and see what his body language tells you. You may be able to press him to tell you who else was involved, if in fact he was involved. You may be able to get more information, or he may know somebody that actually was the one who did this if it wasn't him, or the mastermind. All those things make sense. Okay, that's a part of that process. Okay, now you're also looking at the fact, April says, Marianne, then his mother said she didn't know Nancy in her interview. Perfect example, April. Mom says, I don't know who Nancy Guthrie is. They only lived there for 7 years, right? Pretty 2 doors down from her, basically. But they don't know anything about Nancy. They don't know who she is. But then only later to say, oh, yeah, I knew that was her daughter, Savannah, on TV. I watched her. You know, all those type of anomalies. It just makes sense. So for that reason, in my opinion, he is my number one guy. Literally. Not because anybody's seen him, not because he looks like the porch guy, but because of the things that he had said, that if you follow that line of reasoning, you damn right he is definitely a person of interest. Paul says liars. Hello, DD, and everyone says Jody. Good to have you, Jody. Luke's mom knows more. I wouldn't doubt it. Hi, Paul, says Marianne. So now that we have established him, he's one person. Let's go to the beginning with TC. We talked about it this morning. Same thing with him. Double DD in a day, yay, says Tegan. So now you have literally TC and Annie. Now, I don't like going there with family, but you can't avoid the fact that literally Annie and TC got a message from DC in California stating, hey, do you have the Bitcoin? We're ready to make the exchange. Okay? But here's the kicker. Not only did he do that, He sent one of them a 9-second phone call. And I told you all what I thought how that phone call probably went. I don't know for a fact, but I think how it went. And it went something like this, in my opinion. Hey, why are you calling me? Did you get the Bitcoin? No, I didn't get it. I'll call you when we get it. Bye. 9 seconds. Okay? 9 seconds. And we did this before this test. 9 seconds. So, once again, that's what I think probably happened. I'm not saying it happened that way, but I bet you anything is pretty damn close. Which would mean what? That obviously, somewhere down the line, DC felt he could go ahead and call these people, in this case T and A and T, and literally ask that question. That's pretty ballsy if you ask me. That is very ballsy to say. And here's the kicker. The police, Pima County Sheriff's Office, won't even release the call. They won't even tell you who did he call. Did he call Annie or did he call Tommaso? Why? Would one look more suspicious than the other? I think so. I think so. I would bet you anything. In my opinion, it was probably TC because he was the male figure in their relationship. He's the male. But not only that, because there's a more prone that they have a connection there than maybe Annie. There's a lot of things you got to look at, but those are just opinions. They're not facts. They're my opinions. But they're damn good opinions. So my point is now, says here, Jody, I was just watching Brian's video. The sheriff, every day he looked worse than ever. No doubt about it. Hi, all coming in. April says, we timed it on here and it was 9 to 10 seconds. There's no doubt. That is very probable of what the conversation was. Or pretty damn similar. Why would he call? If you just message, why would he call? Or the conversation, I think, and I can't remember verbatim, but I think it was something like, did you get my message? Why are you calling me? Do you have the Bitcoin? No. I'll let you know when we get it. Bye. I think that was more what I said. 9 seconds. 9 to 10 seconds. In my opinion, that's probably what happened. I'm not saying it did. I'm saying in my opinion. Because that fits that narrative. So those two automatically, all those three, literally are people of interest. Just like we talked about this morning. You cannot clear the whole family when you can't even answer how this all happened. I don't care if anybody talked to him. I don't care that he's going to court. I don't care that he was arrested and he's going to get charged being DC for going ahead and basically fraud, right? Trying to capitalize on somebody else's demise. You know, he's trying to profit off this situation, you know, to go ahead and get a Bitcoin. Okay? I get all that. But I don't think it ends there. Because here's the thing you have to remember. He's in a no-win situation. You say, what do you mean, Devil Dog? If he says what they want him to say, the truth, and he says, yes, me, so-and-so, and so-and-so, we talked about this, then he's an accessory. Not just to kidnapping, but of Nancy becoming unalive. He's an accessory. That's time. That's time. That's federal time, big time in jail, in prison. Okay? So he can't really just come out and say that. Okay? Now, if he doesn't say nothing and says, yeah, I was just dummy and I just thought I'd go ahead and try to make money, well, he's going to jail probably, 6 months to a year, depending on his record, his previous. Okay? So he can't win for losing. It's now either you get no money and you're going to jail, or you go ahead and say you are a part of this and you're really going to prison. Follow me? Because the crime has shifted. It shifted from a kidnapping. Now you committed a felony. You came in the house. You committed a felony. You took somebody by force, and then you unalive them. Because of you, they become unalive. Yeah, you're looking at some serious time. Serious time. Probably anywhere from 15 to 20 years, if not more. And that's without looking at the statutes. So my point is just that. Those people cannot be, A&T cannot be ruled out. Why? Because DC brought him into the picture. And then you look at the behavior of TC and A. And there is a behavior problem there. There is a behavior. Would you not all agree? The hiding of the face, the not wanting to say nothing. Look, you don't want to say nothing. Hey, I can drive just fine driving down the road and come into my mother-in-law's house without hiding my face. I don't need to be seen. Really? If I didn't do nothing, hey, I have no problem. I can go anywhere, look straight down the road, and try to not give that impression that I did something. That's all on him, not on everybody else. Everybody else is going by what they see. Else is going by what they're being presented with. You know, so the idea that he is just going to be doing this number or like A doing this number as they're going to the house of Nancy. What the hell are you hiding for? Why are you? Why are you not? Why do you feel that you need to put your head down? Hell, I'll be honest with you. I would rather see that little bit of remorse, maybe some tears coming down to say, man, that they're really feeling it. They're going through that pain. Because I mean, I think they are, but I'm just saying. Not, I don't want anybody to see us. What? We already know who it is. So what does that have to do with anything? Is it a sense of guilt? Is it a sense of regret? Is it a sense of remorse? These are all just opinions, but they're common sense things that someone's going to think. So the idea of why are people saying this? Because they're presenting themselves in that fashion. And when you present yourself, when law enforcement is trained literally to solve these type of cases, guess what? Guess what? They're going to see it. People are not dummies. They're going to see it as well. They watch enough of CSI and all these other crime shows. They're going to have an idea of what's happened. They may not know why and how come, but they're going to have a way of making their opinion in public opinion. Marianne says, I don't think they are releasing the call because DC has court next month. Right. And that may be so, Marianne. They may not release the call because of that reason. But I don't think they're releasing that call irregardless. They're not going to release that call irregardless. I would be shocked if they did. Could they? Sure. After the judgment is done? Sure. After Kalela is arraigned and whatnot? Sure. I think they can. And I think they could. But I would be shocked. Because if DC is taking the fall for what he did, then that means that we're not going to know who else could have been talked to on that phone call. We don't know who that phone call was actually made to, right? So why does that matter? Well, it matters big time because then the case is still ongoing. So they're not going to release that call because you could say the whole case is still ongoing. Remember, if I'm not mistaken, Pima County Sheriff's Office said that DC in California had nothing to do with what happened to Nancy. Did he not say that? Did he not say that? Of course he did. So if he's going to take that fall, well, and they're going to just say, well, this call is a part, obviously, of Nancy because they were asking for a Bitcoin. They're still not going to release that. In my opinion. But that's a good point, Marianne. That is a good point, no doubt. Falls. Layla said he was watching the case on TV, pulled up family contact info, and texted them to see if they would respond. Yeah, I don't think he's, in my opinion, smart enough to think outside the box like that. Just saying, my opinion. Fel Gem is in the house. Said hi. How you doing, Fel? Good to have you. Good to have you. Marianne, thank you. April, hello, Feld. Welcome in. Feldman says, the road is dark and so is my face. Sounds good, my friend. Melissa Wildcard says, hey, what's going on, Melissa? Hi, Melissa. April, Melissa. Falls. I didn't really like to know. I'd really like to know what A&T have said to their children or their child, because they have one child. That would be very interesting. And I don't think that's ever going to happen, but that is a very good point. It would be nice to know. It'd be nice to be that fly on the wall to know what they said. April, Kayla was moved to a security prison and her release is in October for weapons charge. Weapons and drugs, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think it's weapons and drugs for October, to be released in October. That alone is odd, big time odd. Anytime you deal with drugs and you have weapons involved, that that literally seriousness of the crime shoots up to the roof because you have weapons involved within a crime and you're dealing drugs within a crime. I'm telling you, that weapons charge just exacerbates those charges. Any law enforcement can tell you that. Okay? It's one thing to have just drugs, but when you have weapons around, that's like stopping somebody on a DUI and they have a case of beer right next to them on the front seat. And they're saying, I have been drinking. Really? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's that solid. So yes, that is definitely does not fit what has happened. And the only way someone's going to get a 6-month sentence, in my opinion, I've seen this done before, folks. The only one someone's going to get such a low sentence like that for a drug and weapons charge, having weapons and dealing drugs, the only time someone's going to get that if they did a plea bargain of some sort and they gave up some valuable information. And if that information pans out, then by God, yeah, that's the only way they're going to go ahead and lower something like that. That's serious. Ask any law enforcement, they'll tell you. And we all know we can rely on what Nanodes says. I know. That's the Nano. I know. False. She wasn't supposed to be released until 1/7 of 2027. Think about that, everybody. Knocked off like 6 months off her charge. Should have been probably higher. But knocked off X amount. Probably knocked a year and a half off. I'm telling you, when you commit drug charges and you have weapons involved, that sucker's going to go to the roof, the charges. The time is going to go high. Saul said hi. How you doing, Sauce? April, exactly. Falls. It was reduced. And then you ask yourself, well, the very next day when they took her in and arrested her, what did they do? They had issued LD with a search warrant along with his mom for the house and his car, the Range Rover. People, this is not rocket scientists, I'm telling you. So, yes, I think those three, DC, TNA, LD, hell yeah, they're probable suspects. No doubt about it. They are, in my opinion, they are big time people of interest. It goes without saying. Fall says, maybe she was squawking. Look, she's squawking because she knows very damn well that if she doesn't talk or give any information, more than likely, in my opinion, under the circumstances, she's going to do a lot of time. And she's avoided a lot of charges. I don't know if you all looked at the charges. I have looked at the charges. She has avoided a lot of charges, been dismissed for one reason or the other, dismissed for one reason or the other. But this didn't get dismissed. It just got reduced. So at what point, if they're going to just reduce it to be nice, at what point does this person learn that she cannot do these type of things and get away with it? You know what I'm saying? Once again, common sense, folks. April, hey, but Luke didn't know her, just got arrested together. You can't make that shit up. No doubt. No doubt. Luke to say, I didn't know who she was. He said that also on Brianna Whitney's live interview. I don't know who she is. I don't know why they're saying we're affiliated. Well, I don't know, because you guys got arrested together up at Walmart parking lot for dealing drugs. It was stated by many people that you guys had a relationship going on of some sort. Not to say that's factual, but it kind of would go a long way that you both were together. And I don't think that was your first rodeo, in my opinion. Okay? So let's be realistic here. That does not make sense one bit. You can get away with lying to literally Brianna Whitney. You can get away with lying to her because you're not under oath. But that can still be used against you. You cannot go ahead and lie to law enforcement and say those things because they know better. Tucson is the place to go if you're a criminal, says Falls. Tina, hello. Good to have you, Tina. So now we covered those 4 individuals. Hey, you can't deny it. They're people of interest. The only thing is we just don't know if they've been talked to or re-talked to, re-interviewed, right? We know some of them were interviewed, but were they re-interviewed after other information has come out? Common sense, everybody. 3 Cats, hello from Minnesota. Good to have you, 3 Cats. So now, let's move on a little bit. What did really, if anything, did KD know? You know, the one that's doing 6 months. The one that probably went ahead and gave information to help obtain a warrant for LD. Right? What did she really know? Did she know what happened? Was she with him? Was she a part of this? What she said, hey, I was just in the car. I had nothing to do with this. You know, what did she really say? So, yes, they spoke to her. And I'm sure they got her to talk. No doubt in my mind. April says, like and subscribe and share if you haven't. We appreciate you all being here. Melissa, dog, did you watch JLR live last night? He had everyone on panel. The Juice, 857, Alex, and Nick. I didn't, honestly. I was actually watching a little bit of the past of Salutes, and I was watching some of Monk's things that he had. I'll go back and watch it. Hello, 3 Cats. So that's another thing there, you know? What's happening is you're seeing so many people that are involved in this puzzle or involved in the sense of people of interest in this puzzle. They're all fitting somewhere. We just don't know where, but they're fitting somewhere. It's almost like, in my opinion, like they're all and somehow know each other. 3 Cats, FBI needs to plant someone in jail. They will learn a lot more from the talking there. No doubt. I can understand that, 3 Cats. I agree. Or they just need to talk to some people that are in jail. They don't need to plant anybody. Just talk to some of the people in there. I'm sure they know what the hell happened. Melissa, never heard of Monk. Monk Intrigue? Great individual. Love all his contacts. Tori's in the house. Good to have you, Tori. Yeah, Monk Intrigue is a fabulous individual. Watch his stuff, and I'll tell you what, I've been in law enforcement for many, many years, but even I can pick up a few things from Monk, no doubt about it. And I have no problem saying that. That guy, like Sleuth, they know how to put information together. Kudos for them. Tori, like the video. April. Falls, what do I need to do to become Kayla's Selly? Right? Become Kayla Selly. I think they got what they needed from her. Honestly, I really do. I think they got what they need from her. They just have to be able to confirm and validate everything she has said. And here's the thing, everybody. She has a lot to lose. So if she's misleading anything, if in fact she gave information and she's misleading, she's got a lot to lose. They'll yank that 6 months and they'll give her the maximum. Yes, they will. And they can. If her information doesn't pan out, they can very well say, well, if this pans out, then we'll give you this. If it doesn't, off the table. And they very well could just yank it and say, you're doing full maximum time, period. She's got a lot to lose, everybody. Tori says, yeah, he has a good channel too. Three Cats, Monk knows his stuff. No doubt about it, Three Cats. Totally agree. Thank you, Tori, says April. Falls, I'm so sorry. Wrong emojis. You're all good. Falls. Jay says, so what are we talking about again? The kidnapping that went wrong on Nancy Guthrie at the Catalina Hills, the Catalina Foothills. She was kidnapped. She is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, who was on CBS News Lady. And she is 84 years old. That's what this whole thing is about. Falls, it's all good. April, hello, Jay. So now we just covered, just in that little short time, again, the same people that we talked about this morning. Tori, my phone screen's so small, I need my glasses off. Great stream, Double Dog 88. Thank you, Tori. I appreciate you. If you guys like the live and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Become a Devil Pup Investigator for Devil Dog _88. Let's make it happen, everybody. We can all learn from one another. No doubt. Paul says they did arrest that 22-year-old jerk they were looking for yesterday. Good for him. He needed to be arrested. No doubt about it. I know what you're talking about. So now we covered about, what, 5 individuals? Let's move on. You all have such a great idea here. I love the way you consider all the possibilities. Thank you, Tori. Thank you. We got a great group here. No doubt about it. Three Cats. I still think they left the house with Nancy alive, but something went wrong with her heart a few days later. That's very possible. And that's very, very possible, Three Cats. No doubt about it. It's not, I don't know if it took that long. It's very well that she went out of that house alive, but shortly after became unalive. See, that's why they could never show you a proof of life. Anybody knows in law enforcement, and even people that are committing this type of crime, that if you go ahead and do a kidnapping for ransom, you're going to have to show a proof of life. That's just bar none. That's the standard. If you don't show a proof of life, no one's going to give you jack. And that's how it works. Now, they could never show you a proof of life. They could tell you, I know where she's at. I know where she's at. I know who took her and this and that and the other. But they never once would show a proof of life. Why is that? My theory, my opinion is because they couldn't. Because she was unalive. And they knew it. So they were just grasping for straws, trying to get whatever they could. Maybe that half a Bitcoin. Remember, it got as low as a half a Bitcoin, went from 6 million to a few Bitcoins to now like half a Bitcoin, and then half a Bitcoin later. Like, this is the buy here, pay here. I'll give you half now, and then you can give me half later when the check's in the mail. Seriously? That's what it sounds like. That's why, in my opinion, these people, in my opinion, just my opinion, they might not have been caught yet. And that's probably just because the sun and the moons and everything was aligned that they were able so far to get away with this. But make no mistake, I am not impressed with this group thinking that they were all that smart, as some have suggested. Just because they haven't found the individual or haven't literally made an arrest doesn't mean that these people are so smart. But first of all, you have to be dumb as hell to go ahead and commit a crime like this to an 84-year-old lady who did nothing wrong, period. That just goes without saying, in my opinion. $250,000 bond for the jerk Falls, no doubt. I saw that as well. Falls, Mab had a story last night that was AI generated, but it was talking about how Nancy might have been given a sedative once in the car. It was kind of interesting. That is interesting. I watch a few of Mavs as well, and yeah, I like his stuff as well. Down to earth, calls it how he sees it. I do like some of his stuff that he has, absolutely, and that is a very good possibility. I mean, it's not like they couldn't force her to swallow the pill, right? It's not like they couldn't force her. There's many ways to force somebody to take a pill. That's just fact. So the idea that is a very good possibility. I'll have to check that out. Good, Marianne. Lock him up, and he has quite the ref sheet. Throw away the key. Well, maybe not literally, but I have no sympathy for people who do these type of heinous crimes. None whatsoever. Okay? And it has nothing to go with my background as in law enforcement. It has everything to go with what's right and what's wrong. Okay? That's how I see it. Three Cats. I think she was given something that affected her heart. I just had open heart surgery in October. Sorry to hear that. And it does not take much to throw my heart off. And I'm only 59. She was already fragile. You're exactly right, Three Cats. That's very possible. It's not very okay. Let me give you an example to that, what you just said, Three Cats. So let's say if they were in that blue car, right? And she's screaming out the window for help. And the driver turns around and says, "Shut her up! That bitch is gonna get us caught." And somebody either with an object in their hand, with their fist, or even with anything they have, kapow, hits her right across the face. Shut up, bitch! And this is just an opinion, but I'm giving you a scenario. Shut up, bitch! Boom. She doesn't recover. It's the time she's in the car during the time she was supposedly taken. She doesn't recover. Her heart can't take it no more. Kapow! She becomes unalive. Is that probable? You're damn right that's probable. Is it plausible? You damn right that's plausible. Because they had to have known that someone heard. They could have just seen the person standing there. They may have not known that she called 911 or the person called 911, but I guarantee you, if they drove by and they see the person standing there and she was screaming for help, very possible they were like, "Oh, we gotta do something quick." And then to find out, oh my God, she became, not that they tried to unalive her, but that smack or that hit or that whatever could have been that moment when her heart just could not kick back on. That's very easy to understand that. So yes, I do believe that it is possible that she left her alive and then became unalive. Not necessarily on purpose, but it doesn't matter. When you commit a felony on top of another felony and someone becomes literally unalive, guess what? That's on you. That's on you. Whether you did it purposely or not doesn't matter. That's on you. That's a fact. But thank you for that, Three Cats. That was a very good information. Absolutely. How her pacemaker was documenting everything from how it went up, and then once they get her out, her heartbeat drops. Very, very true. Very true. April, anyone who is not familiar with DD is a former law enforcement and uses his experience here to explain to us and makes us understand things we may not be able to on our own. Thank you so much, April. And that is a fact. So, you know, I don't have every theory right. I don't think that I know everything that has happened. But I can tell you when you put the pieces together and you put your experience in it, sometimes that's all you need. And with a little bit of common sense, I say a little bit because we all have common sense. With a little bit of common sense goes a long way. So if you just think outside the box on those type of issues, I'm not saying go into the weeds. I'm saying just think outside the box, have a little common sense. You may not have the experience in law enforcement, but that is what I bring to the table. And in my opinion, that's how I'm seeing it. Could I be wrong? Sure. Sure I could. Sure I could. It is possible. I'm not perfect. But I tell you what, I like my theory as to what's happening versus maybe other theories that I'm hearing. You know, that's just from my perspective. Three cats. That would have been so stressful for her. She had to be terrified. I won't leave this world quietly. I'm sure this was feisty, but her heart was no longer equipped. That is a fact. Three cats. Well stated. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Sauce. I agree. Three cat. No doubt about it. Absolutely. It's only so much for someone elderly for their heart just to finally give out, especially when they have a pacemaker already. Doesn't take too much stress. Hell, I can get stressed at times, especially when I'm hearing a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense to me. I can get stressed, and I'm not nowhere near that age. Just saying. It is very plausible, everybody. That's why all these people are people of interest. They fit that role. There's enough just to talk to them. I'm not saying they can arrest them. I'm not saying that law enforcement can go just on that and say you're under arrest. No. But they can go that far just to go ahead and literally have an interview with them or re-interview them to get to where they need to be. Plus, if she realizes who is doing this to her, oh, that's no doubt. Could you imagine if she recognized one of the people or several of the people that were there? Oh my God. Think about that. That didn't even cross my mind until you said it. But yeah, if she would have saw the person or heard their voice and said, "Oh my God, I know who that is," I mean, that right there could have been, as they say, the nail in the coffin. Absolutely, very good point, Sauce. Very good point. Very good point. I mean, who more than what would be more shattering than to hear the voice of someone you think you trusted or someone you thought you had your faith in to pull something like this off? Not saying it happened, but that's a very good point, Sauce. Well done. Fall says, why isn't truth serum legal? Right? Right? No doubt. No doubt. Three cats, which begs the question, why you picking on this 84-year-old lady? I am still hopeful they'll catch the perps. We can all finally see who was stupid enough to do this. Throw them damn keys away. I agree. I agree. Unfortunately, the system that we live in, innocent to proven guilty, you got to have those dynamics. You got to have those dynamics. But you're right. I understand where you're coming from. Totally agree. But you got to have those dynamics. Because if you don't have those dynamics, you can't just, you know, for better lack of words, you can't just throw away those keys. But I agree with you. If it was up to me, maybe I would have threw those keys a long time ago. Well said. Well said. So, but now we're at about five people, right? LD, KD, TA, DC. What about the double porch guy, or the double back guy? He was in that area, zero point 0.4 miles away from where Nancy lived. That was reported. Even Doug gone live Northport had a really good video. I like him too. Always breaks things down. Has a video showing literally a backpack that looks like it's got red on the side of the backpack, the color red. We all know what happens when you cut yourself, right? Now, is it plausible that he was trying to throw that backpack when it looked like he was trying to throw a backpack over that fence? He was trying to unhook the fence, remember? Is it plausible? Sure it is. Sure it is. Absolutely. We don't even know who that person who lives there, his name is. Who was the person that lived at that house? Because it wasn't him. Because later that owner came out and said, that person doesn't live here. That person does not live here. He was trying to break into the back of my house. Okay? So that itself speaks volume. But who is that person that lives there? Why is that important? Well, because it would give a reason why he would be going to that house. Was it random? Could have been. Could have been. Or was it not random? Or is the person at this house saying, you know what? BS, you're not going to incriminate me in this. You're on your own, my friend. Do they know each other? We don't know. There's a lot of unknowns there. Would beg the reason why they need to speak to this individual. Did they even take his name down? Because I think the officers made contact with him, if I'm not mistaken. Did the officers go ahead and make contact with him? Did they take his name down? Did they talk to him? See, we can't even get that. Now, I get it if it's a case that's working on all different angles, a lot of moving parts. I get it. It's not easy, folks. A lot of moving parts here. There's so many moving parts. It's not easy just to stay focused on one because there's another one going on over here. I mean, just look at everybody that literally could be involved in this who are all at the same time. All this is happening when Nancy is taken. Well, do you understand what I'm saying? My opinion. Marianne, please don't add any more days. Laughing out loud. I hear you. I hear you, Marianne. April, Marianne, get the whiteboard. Oh, my Lord Sauce. Oh, really? Hadn't heard that one. Absolutely. Absolutely. I need two, April says, laughing out loud. J-Bug, hey, Truth Seekers. What's going on, J-Bug? Three cats. It seems like the perfect crime, yet so many things don't make sense. It is frustrating. Bananos doesn't help any, nothing whatsoever, three cats. Why is he still employed? Well, unfortunately, that's a whole nother story for another time, no doubt about it. Why Kia behind the guy? Yes. That guy who was on that two double pack porch or the double pack guy at the fence, he then shows him walking, and when Doug expands his video, Doug going live Northport, you can see there's a white Kia Soul. What was saw at Nancy's? A white Kia Soul hauling ass, literally during the same time she was taken. This guy was zero point 0.4 miles. I get it. Some people may say, well, um, the timing doesn't fit. All I'm saying is that, yes, he was there during that time of when this happened. Why are they not talking to him? April says, hey, Jay, good to see you. Fanflower, hey, Devil Dogs, what's going on, Fanflower? Patty Case, did I see handcuffs on that dash of that car? I am not sure. That I could not see. It would surprise me. I mean, anybody can get handcuffs these days. Hell, anybody can buy anything these days, seems like. If you go to the right place. But you're right. You're right. The idea is here, folks, is that there's a lot there. Okay? That's why there's so many moving parts that it's hard to just narrow in on one thing. I mean, I just gave you now six people. Six people that are people of interest. That if I was doing this case, I would not bat an eye about having them come in or bringing them in for an interview. Just saying. April says he was trying to throw those backpacks over the fence and struggled with the gate. Yep, that is correct. That's what I saw, in my opinion, April. No doubt about it. Three cats. I shouldn't say that. Hopefully you did not have to work for him. I lasted a day with him as my boss, no doubt. Hey, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Marianne, everyone watch Brian Enton's last short. This is how the sheriff is treating employees and their in this case. I will do that for sure when we get done here. No doubt about it, Marianne. Thank you. Fanflower, he was a decoy devil dog. Well, here's the thing about the decoy. Here's the thing about the decoy. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. You know what he is? If it was him, you know what he'd be, fan? He'd be an accessory to the crime because he was there, right? No doubt about it. But I get it. Everybody thinks he was a decoy. Everybody thinks that porch guy was a decoy. Everybody thinks that the guy, the fence guy, oh, it was just a coincidence. Everybody says all these things, and you're right. How can everything be such explained so easily when you have an 84-year-old woman that's taken? You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the common fan. No, you got it. I feel you, brother. I do. Fall said, will do, Marianne. April, hey, fan, welcome in. Soaring Energy, hey, did you all hear about the county assessor's office report about nanos just got here? I hadn't heard anything, Soaring Energy. Fill us in. Fill us in, my brother. Fill us in. And or sister. Sauce, didn't Nano say crime to be solved soon, but holding vital info back? Oh, yeah, he said this was going to be solved. He said, we're close. We're close. I think this is happening. We're close. And that was what? After like 2 weeks? And how many days has it been? Over 103 days? Over 104 days? Just can't understand people sometimes. April. Soaring Energy. In my research last night, apparently Nanos fired the IT person after the assessor's office incident. Interesting. Now, why would he fire the IT? Why would he fire the IT person? See, if I was FBI, I'd be talking to the IT guy, say, "What the hell?" Or I'd be asking Nanos himself, "What's going on here?" But I would probably go to the IT guy because Nanos will probably tell you to go pound sand because he knows the power of a sheriff is quite a bit, as you all know by now. It is quite a bit of power to be the sheriff. Don't know how it happened that he got there, but he got there. April Sauce, I didn't hear that too. I did hear that too. Yeah, I hadn't heard that. No doubt about it. Fill us in. Fan, bark out loud, crazy hills. No doubt about it, fan. Three cats. I could quickly become the FBI's insider because my butt would be in jail if I had to work with that sheriff. I can understand your feelings. No doubt about it, three cats. That's what Brian Enton talks about. I will definitely look into that. Falls, three cats. You think alike. You think alike me. Soaring, the accessor complied with an FBI request from the assessor's office, and Nanos called her up and yelled at her for doing it. Do you know what? I would have told him to go pound sand too. I would have, if I was that lady, I would have told Nanos go pound sand. They asked for a request. I gave it to them. End of story. There's nothing to hide. What the hell are you yelling for? There's no place for that. No doubt. I did not hear about that, Soren Energy. Thank you. Then IT person was the one that supplied the info to the FBI and request of all accessors files. Then Nanos wants to act like, why is everybody just looking at me? Why are they thinking this? People are saying that it's because of your actions. It's because of your actions. It's because of the choices and decisions that you make at the spur of the moment. People understand. People are not stupid. They see what's happening. Okay? And you know what? If I gave him a platform, if I was a reporter and I gave Nanos a platform, it would only be to ask questions. I would not let him try to dictate the conversation. Okay? You know, it just wouldn't do it. I would definitely have a conversation with him, but I would not let him lead what that conversation is going to be. I guess is a better way to put it. Marianne, yes, Soren, I told DD to watch Brian Enton. I will watch it, no doubt about it. I will definitely see it. Thank you both so much. Jay, this live is insanely to watch. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, Jay. Thank you. The assessor's office reported the incident. Well, I don't know. I don't know how he goes ahead and gets away with this, but definitely definitely, you can bet they're writing everything down. At somewhere, you know that old saying, and I'll say it like this just because I don't want to say it the way it should be said. Give a person enough ROPE and he will HANG himself, right? Heard that saying before, and that is very true in this case. Just keep giving him enough of that ROPE and he'll do it to himself. No doubt about it. This happened in February, just hitting the news today after the report made by the assessor's office. Wow. Falls says, because you are a narcissistic ass numbnuts. Can't argue with that one, no doubt. April, Jay, glad you are enjoying it. Buttercup's in the highs. How everybody? How's it going, Buttercup? Good to have you. Soaring. DF, I am not crazy, but more and more nanos and Annie and Tommaso may be on cahoots. I mean, everybody with the exception of nanos, I have already talked about, and those two out of the three that you just mentioned, we already talked about. I haven't got to nanos, but that's like another animal, okay? But two of those three you just mentioned, Soren, we just talked about. Is that by coincidence? Hell no. Hell no, it's not by coincidence. It's what people are seeing. Can everybody be wrong, or can a lot of people be wrong? I highly doubt it. I think I'll go with my statistics. April, hey, Buttercup. But I won't put that out of the equation about all three of them, Soaring Energy. That's a fact. Starting to wonder myself. Marianne, hi, Buttercup. Hi, dog. Good to see you, Marianne. Good to see you, Buttercup. Appreciate you. Sorian says, yes, agree. So now we covered, what, 7 people now? Well, hell, why don't we shoot for the big 8, right? Let's shoot for the big 8. What about the guy who called in on Salutes Intuitions Live and stated, I am not a female? Lopez's name? I am not a female. Say, what? Buttercup just sent 5 gift memberships. Thank you, Buttercup. Bless you, Buttercup. Thank you so much. So glad you are here. Amen. Semper Fi. Ow, ow, ow. That was a double dog shout out. So understand this. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean it's just crazy. Crazy. I have to believe that there's something there with what you said, Soren Energy. No doubt about it. Once again, thank you so much, Buttercup. Appreciate you. Sent 5 Devil Dog 88 gift memberships. 3 cats. I think Bananos and T are gambling buddies. Maybe they both got into debt and thought this sounded like a good idea. Desperate people do desperate things. Desperate, desperate people do desperate things without a doubt. 3 cats. You are 100% right. I agree. No doubt about it. Could that be the case scenario? Could be. I've heard about gambling debts in the past. I have heard it. And so it's not like, now I don't have any factual to base it on, but I have heard that. Could that be it? Well, I've heard that, A&T are having money problems, right? I mean, look at the salary they make, look at what they bring in and what goes out, how much their home is. I mean, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So you got to have those things in there. You got to be able to have all these plausible theories out there. But you have to be able to connect it. And I have to say, yeah, gambling will tear somebody's livelihood apart. Just as much as they may hit a win, they may hit a nice little parlay, they may hit a nice little, 3-team parlay. they could also lose a big three-team parlay. No doubt about it. Fan Flower received a gift. Make sure you all say thank you. Do me that favor. Tell Buttercup thank you for that. Appreciate you all, and thank you so much, Buttercup. God bless you, sweetheart. Appreciate it. Three Cats just got received a gift. Buttercup's on patrol. I love it. Mandat 317. Peter Doer 324. Marianne M4. I've been saying that Nanos is covering up for someone for a while. You have. You have, Marianne. You have. And the idea is that you could be right. You could be right. I'm not saying that that's factual or not, but you could be right. We just got to be able to connect those dots. And that's the only reason I haven't gone there yet with Nanos. But listen, I am telling you, something's not right, in my opinion, with that man, with that sheriff. Something's not right. And I'm basing that on everything, a lot of the decisions he has made. One in particular, to cancel the search for Nancy after less than 48 hours, in all honesty. That's one. Two is what we're hearing on the back end from some of the people who work at Pima County, what we're hearing information that's being leaked that he is literally getting in the way of everything they're wanting to do. I mean, that doesn't happen in a vacuum, everybody. So another thing is the fact that he literally doesn't want to answer any questions, like he's King Poobah and he doesn't owe the people who put him in that position an answer. That's always something really shady. So now you have this guy who's trying to literally go ahead and, for a better lack of words, in my opinion, seems to be stifling the investigation. It's just what I see. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just saying what I see. And you know what? It's not just what I see. I've seen a lot of my brothers and sisters in law enforcement out there talking on their lives and their streams and their podcasts. And you know what? They're not far from me, and I'm not far from them. Okay? It's just common sense. When you worked in the field and you know what about how to do certain things, it's so obvious. It is so damn obvious. Something's not adding up. Thank you for that, Marianne. Buttercup, going to listen on my way home. Love it. Laughing out loud. Thank you so much, Buttercup. Appreciate you. God bless you, sweetheart. Appreciate it. And I know everyone else here appreciates you in our chat, in our live. Thanks for being a member. Jody with the dog tab, the dog dap. No doubt about it, Jody. April says, Buttercup, thank you so much. Simplify. Be safe on your way home. Marianne, the dogs. Marianne, I am still looking for pictures of those two together. I want that $200 from JR. That's a good one, Marianne. I will help you look. I have to look myself. They're going to be very nonchalantly, no doubt about it, and they're going to be hiding. But if it's out there, Marianne, I know you can find it. I know you can find it. Soaring Energy. Okay, I heard Tommaso had a child corn on his phone. Oh my God, I know what you mean, but it's just funny how it came out. I have heard Tommaso had a child corn on his phone, and Nancy found it. He might have. I mean, look, I I'm not going to get into the. Don't worry, Marianne. I'm not going to get into the fetish ball thing, but people in that lifestyle, in that world, really rarely make any sense and really have any morals or decency. I'll just leave it at that. That's as far as I'm going to go with that. But you're right, Soren. I did not know that. Uh, and we need to check that out, everybody. Google it and find out. Soren Energy also assessor would not say what was the info she sent, but we know it Was any and Tommaso's property tax owed? Interesting. And somebody, either they came up with the funds for it or somebody helped them come up with the funds for it. I wonder who was that. Are they getting paid interest? Think about that. Let's just say hypothetically, and this is just an opinion and a theory here. Let's just say that someone helped TNA because Nancy's no longer here. So, and probably Savannah's not going to do it. Maybe Cameron's not going to do it. I don't know. It's possible. But let's just say someone helped them on the back end to pay their taxes so that when inheritance time came, they would get a big interest, like maybe 900% interest on what they helped them with. Is it possible? Hell yeah, it's possible. Is it probable? Hell yeah, it's probable. Not saying it happened and not saying it's going to happen and not saying that that's the whole thing. But you know what? I wouldn't put it past it, in my opinion. Not with everything, the baggage that I see with all of them. Three cats, a teacher and a sheriff don't make enough to own a fancy car and a house. I'm a teacher and trust me, T is rolling in money. Oh, I hear you, three cats. I hear you. Well said, my friend. April, Marianne, exactly my thoughts too. And it's someone in the neighborhood he is covering for, in my opinion. You know, he has to know the people who live there at the Catalina foothills, right? And we know that he has to know these people like literally. We know who has the multiple houses out in the Catalina foothills. We have an idea of what each or close to the price range of some of these houses. To own 2 to 4 to 3 to 4 properties, that's some serious money. What does money buy you? Money buys you a voice. Literally. What does money buy you? It buys you a voice. It buys you a voice to be able to tell someone like a sheriff, hey, turn your head this way or turn your head this way. Just don't look this way. That is very powerful. They have power. That's what money does to people. They give them a little bit more influence. Look over there. Look over there. Just don't look here. It's been done before, folks. It's not something crazy. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm saying, in my opinion, it's not something crazy. It's very probable. Whereas all this stuff seems to be happening now. And then we find out later or earlier that there's like a little ring of these little hooligans in the Catalina foothills. That there's a little ring of these hooligans. You start naming names and you go, oh my God, that person lives there, that person lives there, that person lives there, this person was arrested, this one in prison for this one in prison. You can't make that shit up. Think about that for a minute. I thought Catalina was the safest place to be in Arizona. Maybe it's the safest place if you're a hooligan. Probably. Just saying. If he wasn't, why stop all the searches and no one is talking at all? That makes no sense, Marianne. No doubt. I am with you. Soaring energy. My post didn't go, so let me decode the mom found corn of Young's on its device. I feel you. We know where you're coming from, my friend. But patty cakes, avoiding everyone. No doubt about it. That is fact. You can see it. Nick just showed us trespass sign went up in the wash behind Andy's house where the pants were found. You can't make this stuff up. No doubt, April. You can't make this up. Nick just showed us the trespass sign went up in the wash behind. Stay off my property in the wash. It's a wash, for God's sake. It's a wash. Why are you so hell-bound about a wash? I get it if someone was building a bonfire or building a campground on your property, but to put a sign in a wash, really, folks? That's what we come to? You're more concerned about a wash than you are about maybe more important things like mom, mother-in-law? Just saying. It's the perception that gets everybody. It's the look. It's the accountability. It's how when people say things, people can read between the lines. They're not silly. They're not dumb. Okay? So when she says this, okay, when they put up a thing, whoever put that up, when they put up that no trespassing sign, my God, what are you so afraid of? Literally, what are you so afraid of if you did nothing wrong? Thank you for that, April. Appreciate that news, and thank Nick for all that information as well. Fan, thank you, Buttercup. Soaring energy, and it is not a stretch to know Nana was involved with those kinds of things. Unbelievable. Says Soaring Energy, no doubt about it. Marianne, I agree, April. I also think Sue Ellen can be friends with A. It's very possible. It's very possible. Or she could just be one of them old individuals who just doesn't like people around. But you're right. It's very possible. You know, it's like the one lady said when asked about Sue Ellen, said, oh, no, she's just an old bitter person. I mean, you can't argue with that, right? If the shoe fits, put it on. You know, it's what everybody sees. If everybody sees someone's demeanor, someone's actions, and someone's behavior, and they all call it pretty much in the same light, does that mean everybody's wrong? No, of course not. Probably because everybody's right, and what they're seeing is because of the message you are sending, your body language, your attitude, your just the aura that you bring to the table. No doubt about it. Well said, Marion. Thank you. Falls. Maybe he is getting a cut from the dealers and criminals to look the other way. Like I said, look there, look there. Just do not look here. Go there. Just do not come here. It won't be the first time that a sheriff literally has done something similar to this or has been a part of the criminal mind, if you will, for a better lack of words, in my opinion. And that is fact, by the way. There's no way that this has happened many times over the course of years that this stuff have happened at that level of law enforcement in the sheriff's department. Just saying, it's a fact in any department for that matter. It's happened before, so it's not something that's new. It's just new when you come across it and you have to deal with it, and now you're asking, "Oh my God, I never thought I'd see the day." Well, there you go. Thank you for that. April, what ball? Stop it. We're not going into the ball. I hope Paige is doing okay. I haven't heard from Paige at all. I hope she's doing fine. I know she was feeling sick earlier. April, what ball? Oh, no, don't do the ball talk. We're not going there, folks. We're not going to do the ball talk. We're not doing that ball talk of all that satanic ritual people mojito, whatever in the hell, bonito, and all the followers and the gothic people. We're not going to go there. We're not going there. I'm telling you right now. Patty Cake, Savannah. What about Savannah? Patty Cakes, fill us in. Marion, okay, instead of fetish ball, just say kink ball, laughing out loud. Or just say Kiki and her subordinates. No doubt, but then that would mean a lot of people maybe down at front of Nancy's that were gawking all over the place. I mean, I know we all seen it. Let's not pretend like it didn't happen. Patty Cake says money talks. That is a fact, Patty. No doubt about it. That's how the officers do it. When they're corrupt, that is a fact. That is a fact. When they're corrupt, no doubt. Soaring energy, because don't forget who came to the scene to download the phones the department that does child exploitation crime went to, and it's at TS's house. Interesting. Very interesting. That could have slipped my mind there. Thank you, Soren Energy. Thank you very much. Well said. Patty Cakes, I wanted a vacation out there, but after I seen this, and all the trash. I don't want to go there. Hey, I've been to the Phoenix, Waddell area, the Arizona area, and I'll tell you right now, after seeing what I've seen, I have no desire to live there. It is, I mean, it's like they have everything looks so nice and beautiful until you go to the wrong spots, and then everything looks like a dump. And let's face it, that's the majority of the desert that's out there. Looks like a dump. I'm just saying what I see on everybody's lives. Three cats. Sue Ellen will end up being involved somehow. Her and Nanos are connected somehow. I would not put that past it. No doubt about it, three cats. Falls. Oh, there's another bad player that was connected to Clay Crouch. And that address, who has one hell of a rap sheet. Yes. Yes. I mean, it just like it keeps going. It never stops. I mean, even Clay, when you look at his rap sheet, he was went to prison, kidnapping charges, drug charges, and I think burglary and other charges. I'm not sure about that, but you can Google it. It's just my opinion. It's no telling. Seems like everybody who has done stuff like that seem to all live in that area of the Catalina foothills. I should say all, but it seems like our main people of interest are close to that area, is a better way to put it. Marianne, no more names falls. Marianne, do you have another whiteboard for me? Laughing out loud. Falls, that's why I haven't said anything, Marianne. Soaring Energy, Savannah's tribute to Mother's Day said again, we won't stop looking for you, really. They never started her. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel you, Soaring. I feel you. No doubt. Patty Cakes, I'm sure Sue Ellen is scared too now. She may be, you know. What do people usually do when people know of all these things? They start taking people out. Not saying that's going to happen, but hey, I wouldn't put it past this group of people. Seems like crime is just a part of another second nature to them, in my opinion, from what I see. Buttercup pulled over question. Arizona, is the property tax not paid with the mortgage payment, or is it the house paid off? I don't think the house is paid off, Buttercup. And property tax, to my understanding, no, they're not with the house, because if they were, then they would have just made a house payment. But they literally came at the last day, I believe, or yeah, I think it was the last day that they had to pay it. Otherwise, they'd go up 16%. They went ahead and paid it. So yeah, I'm gonna assume that it doesn't go with the house. Now, for example, my house, my property tax goes on my house. I don't have to pay it because they configured it in. But I don't think they did that with all houses or their house, for the simple fact that they said they waited to the last day before they paid their whatever it was, 2,500, 4,000, whatever it was, their property tax. So by that, I would say no, it's not with their house, and I don't know, their house is not paid off. To my understanding, it's not even close to being paid off. Thank you for that question, Buttercup. Marianne, Buttercup, I believe someone paid the taxes recently. Buttercup, their Fall says Buttercup, their last installment wasn't paid until the last minute. That's what I thought. Melissa, Walker, Lisa, I haven't seen Lisa. No, that's what I said earlier. Patty Cake, Savannah probably paid further back taxes. It's very possible. Very possible. Patty Cakes, I asked to retire officer if he ever was shot. He said no. I looked the other way. I asked to retired officers if he ever was shot. if he would look the other way. He said, no, I looked the other way. Oh, wow. Interesting, patty cakes. Sauce. On today's show, how at the beginning they all wore yellow ribbons and now they don't wear them anymore. Yeah, how time fades after a day or two. It's just bothered me today like that totally forgotten about her. I understand, Sauce. I get it. Clay's rap sheet is 3 pages long. Oh my God. Yeah, I've seen some of his stuff and it's quite a bit. I just can't remember everything because it was so much. Thank you for that, Falls. April, who has meeting, HOA has meeting with Nanos. That's how the streamers got thrown out. That's a no doubt. That's a no brainer. That's what I'm saying. It's these people with, and you can guarantee yourself that the people that have multiple houses there, they have a lot of say. They get to dictate. You know why? Because they have the money. Buttercup, in my state, the mortgage company pays the property tax until mortgage is paid off. Got you. Got you. And I know that, like I said, my mortgage, my property tax is configured into my payment of my mortgage as well. And I'm in a different state as well. So I get it. I totally get it. But that's a very good question, and that's a very good information to be putting out there. No doubt about it. Fall says, have a good evening, everyone. It's dinner time. Hey, have a good one, Falls. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for moderating and everything you bring to the table. April, you too, Falls. Marianne, bye, Falls. Bye, April. Buttercup says, it's public information who paid it. It's supposed to be, but so is a lot of information here, Buttercup. There's a lot of information that's public information, and yet it seems like it's like pulling teeth. Like trying to get any information. But you're right. It is public information. All one has to do is submit it. No doubt about it. I agree 110%. Soaring Energy backwards. Three Cats. Sue Ellen has put her nose in the middle of everyone's business to the extent that she got served papers for harassment. Even that has hardly slowed her down. She's a very busy. Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt. Well stated, Three Cats. April, Lisa wasn't feeling well this morning. She may be resting. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. That is exactly what I'm thinking. Soaring Energy says, aren't 95% of all sheriffs, I'm waiting, Masons. Hey, that's interesting. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Um, That's a very good question. The Masons are another whole topic, but you're right. I mean, could I see that? I'm just thinking in my head right now, all the sheriffs that I know, and you know what? That's a very good probability. That would be a very good an insight, if you will, to check up on because that is interesting. No doubt about it. I had to type in different so many different times. Yes, no, I can see that. And I'm thinking in my head, all the sheriffs that I know, um, they do fit the bill because I knew people that were in as Masons, you know, and absolutely never even thought about that. But yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I could very well see that. Matter of fact, I was once asked if I wanted to join the Masons, believe it or not, and it just wasn't my cup of tea, to be honest. I had to type in different ways as a Buttercup. Our sheriff is a Mason. I'm telling you, there's a lot of them that are now that I think about it. I bet you there is. I don't know that to be factual, but I bet you're not far off. Soaring Energy, no doubt about it. You are too honest, Didi. No, 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 Didi, don't play that, man. Didi, don't do the Mason thing. Although, hey, the way they take care of themselves and the way they network, I tell you what, they got a good foundation, no doubt about it. They got a good setup system. They all seem to help one another, right? I mean, in that aspect, it's not a bad thing. It's just everything that goes with it that I'm not so keen on. You are too honest, DD. Story that it just says you have I do have a conscience, no doubt about it. They are all evil. Yeah, it's there's a lot of there. There's a lot there. It's like yeah. I just don't want to go there. It's like not good. In my opinion, but I do know a lot of people that are in there in the Masons, and they did ask me at one time, and I was like, I don't think so. But thank you for the offer. I mean, it's one of those where you say, are you bought and paid for? I can see anybody who is in law enforcement that's a Mason that is bought and paid for, in my opinion. You would almost have to be because you have to help the next person when they need help. And that's in anything. And technically, you cannot deny anyone anything who is a member of the Masons. That's a big contradiction on what the law enforcement code states that what you are responsible for and what your job is all about. That's a fact. Three cats. Do the Masons drive the little cars in the parades? Yeah, the little cars. I think those are the Shriners, aren't they? The Shriners that have the little monkeys in the front that are clapping their hands like this or something. Oh no! Oh no! Remember they drive the little motorcycle three-wheeler type deals that, and the cars too. Some of them that they have the little monkeys that clapping the hand. In all towns, Soaring Energy, you got it. You're right. The higher you go, the worse you get. Absolutely. I mean, it contradicts everything that you have to be responsible and do as a chief or as a sheriff. It goes against everything. It's just a contradictory. So yeah, you know, that's the whole point of it. That's why they've been around since back in the day, literally, all the way back to the Templars. No doubt about it. Please, let's not get into the Masons. No, no more Masons. We're done with the Masons. Jody says, yes, the Shriners. Yeah. The little Shriners that are clapping, the monkeys are clapping and they're blowing their horns and all that. Yeah, those are the Shriners. They all work in cahoots. I agree. I believe that. Soaring Energy, the sheriff, CPS, etc. The run that trafficking. Hey, I'm not putting anything past anyone. I know, like I said, I know some people that are Masons, and I don't, they're nice to me. I mean, I'm good with them. They're good with me, but I just don't want no part of that affiliation. I guess for a better lack of words. Click that like, everybody. Click that like. Hammer that like button. Send those emojis. Let's get that going. Let's build that algorithms. And Marianne puts the little monkey on the board. Oh, Lord. Three cats. Sorry, patty cakes. I had no idea who the Masons are. We have Lions in Minnesota. There is a Lions group up here, too, where I live. There is a Lions group. I never really knew a lot about them, be honest to say. I never knew a lot about the Lions group. I know they did a lot of I thought it was just like a nonprofit type deal, but they did a lot of things. It always seems to be good things, but I don't know nothing about the Lions in all honesty. Soaring Energy, and at the end of the day, that's who is protecting nanos. That could very well be. That's a very good theory there, my friend. No doubt about it. Jenny Bermudez is in the house. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jenny. Good to have you. Good to have you. If you like the live, please subscribe. Be a devil pup investigator in this chat. I can tell you right now, this is a damn good chat. Great people, no doubt about it. Everyone has an opinion and everyone gets heard. Without a doubt. April, hello, Jenny. But there is a lot, and you're right. That's another thing that really has never really been talked about, Soaring Energy, and you're right. I mean, those are the underlying things that everybody just keeps hush about. Yes, patty cakes. Masons are quiet. It's because of what they're expected to do for one another. And if normally, like for me, I knew the people that I knew were in law enforcement. So because I was in law enforcement and because I knew a lot of people, that's why it was easy for them to say. But normally they don't even tell you who's all in as a Mason. They don't want anybody to know they're Masons, unless they put that big sign in their front house or something, Mason's Lodge or whatever the case may be. The idea is that that's how I knew some of the people was through law enforcement. And that's probably the reason why they asked me if I wanted to become a member. You had to have somebody sponsor you. And I was like, yeah, no, that's okay. Marriott, please don't go there. we're done with it. We're done with it. Three cats. My dad wasn't lying. They work closely with the Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, I could see that. I could absolutely see that. No doubt. And they're, like I said, I didn't know a lot about them, but I could see that because I think every time I would see them like sponsor something, it was always about like uh, they would all be a part of some type of program like helping kids or helping this or helping that, those type of things. But truthfully, I never really knew a lot about the Lions. Uh, but we have one in our close town here, no doubt about it. My dad was a Mason left now, so I have no comment, says April. I say nothing. Me, I don't know. I don't know, as Nanos would say. I don't know. And my mom was a gold star, which is wife of a Mason. Hey, I don't know. We'll just keep it like that. I don't know. Jody, the Shriners help kids a lot too. They do. They do. They're just a little freaky though. The Shriners are a little bit. They're like at least the ones we see out here. They're a little freaky. I mean, they look a little, just a little freaky. I guess is the best way I can put it. But Patty Cake says Scottish Rite. Sword Energy says you mean Eastern Star. Oh, back to Nancy. Let's get back to Nancy. Ain't that right, April? Let's get back to Nancy. So, Jenny, welcome to the house. Glad you're here. So that's what's going on. I mean, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of different things that are happening. The people that we all mentioned, the people that we all talked about, they all have a realm. Yes, Eastern Star, Southeast, and I was a rainbow girl laughing out loud, says April. So the idea that we've named 8 people now. Eight people. Keep my fingers right. 8 people that are very people of interest. And we haven't even got to how Kiki and her photographer fit in the puzzle. That could be very much 10 people. Why was Kiki there doing the photo shoot? She said she was doing a crime. She was doing a crime channel and she wanted to take pictures for her channel. Do you really buy that BS? I don't. I don't. But that's apparently what she had told some of the streamers there, that she was doing a crime channel and she wanted to get pictures there. So, what is the crime channel about? I mean, it's not about crime because you're dressed the way you are, your ass is hanging out of your fucking shorts, your boobs are hanging out of your fucking top. So, what really, I mean, why that risque? What's the point? And so I don't buy that. I think it was, honestly, I think it was a disrespectful thing that they did on purpose. I think it was to laugh at Nancy's face, in my honest opinion. I think they were mocking Nancy's faith in what she believed in, and they were also seeing at that fetish ball, so kind of knows where they fit in the puzzle. Just saying. I was a rainbow girl too, says J Bug. Jody, yes, on purpose, so disrespectful. It was pathetic. And I had no problem saying it. It was pathetic. Patty Cake's rabbit hole we could go down. No doubt. But that's what it was. I don't buy none of that crap that they were doing a thing for her channel. Really? Give me a break, man. You know, for what? A channel for all the what? Satanist people? I'm just saying, listen, I'm not calling anybody anything who hasn't projected themselves in that light, right? Whether it's a sheriff, whether it's people like Kiki and her photographer in the satanic world, I'm not, I'm not calling anybody anything that they haven't basically said they are. I guess is the best way to put it. Hello, everyone, says Carol. Welcome. I think I lived a pretty sheltered life, says Three Cats. Masons, Rainbow Girls. April says, hi, Carol. Energy. You are right, Dee Dee. I'm just saying, you can only go with the perception of what you see. And if people are going to come across that way and you see it and everybody else sees it, well, then it's probably because that's exactly what they want you to see, right? They're not trying to sugarcoat it. They're not trying to hide it. I saw some of those pictures that were posted from, I think it was Sleuth or Monk. I think it was Sleuth that posted those pictures of Kiki and the photographer at this fetish fest. I saw those pictures. I saw those people hanging from the ceilings, hanging with hooks on their skin. I saw that. It's pathetic. It was disgusting, grotesque. You name it, it was it. I saw it. So I saw those pictures, and I saw them there. My point is, you are what you project yourself to be. Okay? You project yourself to be suspicious, you're going to be suspicious. You project yourself to go ahead and be involved in something like this, as far as the case goes with Nancy, that's what people are going to see. You project yourself that you had something to do with it, guess what? People are going to see that. Okay? You better be a damn good con person or a damn good con artist, as they say, if you think you're going to be something but project something else. You better be damn good at it. Because the reality is that everybody can see right through it. They may not want to call it out the way they see it, but everybody can see through it. That's just a fact. At least I know this Dee Dee can say that because I know better. Jody says, I would never have dressed like that. And if I tried, my granny would have probably beat me with a 2x4. No doubt. Oh, God. Carol, hello, April. Three Cats. Oh, that's hilarious. I don't know they were related. Ugh. Soaring Energy, it's called Sigil Magic. That's how it has to be done right in our face. Sigil Magic. Yeah, I don't know nothing. Don't want to know nothing about that. All I can say is when you project yourself in that light, in that way, and you literally go ahead and you start to tell people exactly how you fit in that puzzle, well, then you did it. You did it. You projected it. No one else projected it on you. Can't complain when people start calling you out on it. It was disgraceful and disgusting. Jay, I didn't see those pictures. Yeah, Sleuth had them. Saw one of his lives. I don't remember which one, but it was after. I want to say it was the day or 2 days after is when he posted those pictures, and it was of the fetish ball. It was of the whole. Somehow they got. I think what happened was they posted it on some of their, like I want to say Mojito, whatever in the hell his name is. I think they posted it on their Instagrams, and that's how they were seeing, or their Facebooks. It was one of the social medias. May have even been their Reddit or something, but they posted it on their social medias, and that's where those pictures came from. Social media. That's how they were able to get them. Soaring Energy, and when we don't say no, that means we agree as the masses. Amen. Amen. Marianne, I thought Dee Dee said he wasn't talking. I'm not talking. I'm done. We're talking about the people involved with Nancy. So we're up to now like 10. Okay, 10 possible people of interest. People that people that I would definitely feel comfortable bringing in and having that conversation. Okay, all 10, literally. Even Lopez. Remember Lopez, right? We talked about him. I'm not a girl. I didn't do it. I'm not a girl. I'm not a girl. I'm not. Or I'm sorry. Not I'm not a girl. I'm not a female. My bad. I'm not a female. Because they were talking about the poor person looked like a girl, and he called in and said, "I am not a female." And then he puts his name and everything on there. That's how we knew his name or what he called himself. So saying that, there's another individual right there. Okay, why would he say that? What was the purpose? Instead of saying that doesn't look like a girl to me, to literally come out. I don't know if he was had to be angry because he did say it kind of like hasty. I am not a female. I am not a female. Well, okay. So are you the porch guy? Right? I mean, you follow me? It just makes no sense. And so, yes, I would be talking if I was a law enforcement, and I would be saying, okay, tell me why you're not that person, why you're not a female. you know, I mean, how else do you approach it, right? I am not a female. It makes no sense. Thanks for the gift membership, says Three Cats Buttercup. Just saw it. Mary. Why Buggins is in the house. Good to have you, Mary. Welcome. April, hello, Mary. I'm thinking they need to interview Lauren. Anyone else? Okay, we got a new player, Marianne. At least a new player to me. Who is Lauren? Tell me, Mary, who is Lauren? I know I heard the Lauren name before. I can't put it in play. Does anybody help me out here? Lauren is an interesting player in this whole thing. Tell me who Lauren is, please, somebody. I'm sure I know I heard the name before. I just can't place it. Come on, I'm waiting. Mary Lauren is the lady who takes care of the Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Yes. Yes. She was out there with I think with wasn't it Juanita or something with Alex and out there she was fixing up the memorial of yes, that's her. Fanflower. Lauren keeps up the Hope Memorial, yes, in front of the house. That's yes, I thank you for letting me know. Yes, I do remember her. What makes her kind of suspicious or a little shady? Anything that I need to know, other than I did hear somebody say a comment about her a while back that something about she really wasn't good friends with Nancy or something to that effect. Was that? Do I have it right? I'm not adding anyone else. I'm done. Cat Lady's in the house. How you doing, Cat Lady? Good to have you. What about Penny, Nancy's cousin? There you go. Now you definitely have to go ahead and put those names down, Marianne, because you got Penny from Cat Lady. Penny, Nancy's cousin. Tell me the story about that, Cat Lady. Tell me about Penny, Nancy's cousin. Is that the one that was playing the game of the kidnapping game that they did when they were little? She has denied being best friends with Nancy. Okay, that one there is Lauren. Thank you, April. Appreciate that. I knew I heard something about that. She has denied being best friends with Nancy, but yet has been out there. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. No doubt about it. Three cats. Lauren says she is friends with Annie. Annie does not agree, apparently. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Soaring Energy, Savannah's husband runs a PR company. He used to be the scrubber for the Clintons. Interesting. April, but in the beginning, she claimed she was. No, I remember she did say she was good friends, best of friends, or good, solid friends with Nancy. That is true. Cat Lady says, all I know is Penny is Nancy's cousin and she doesn't live in Tucson. Okay. Does anybody know anything about Penny? Is she the one that was involved in the kidnapping game when they were kids or something? Help us out here. Help me out. Cat Lady. Anyone here who is new to the channel, please subscribe and become a fan. Become a devil pup in, investigator. Do that for me. This channel is growing, I'm telling you, and you guys are making it happen. Appreciate you being here, Cat Lady. Mary, because she initially made it sound like she was good friends with Nancy, and it's really not true. Hasn't seen her talk with her for years. Her impression of it is not reality. Makes very good sense, Mary. Thank you so much for that clarification. Appreciate you. Thank you. Marianne, she is friends with Nancy. I am friends with her on Facebook. So now, Marianne, you're saying she is friends with Nancy and you are friends with her on Facebook. Mary, she also has the same dog that RN was seen walking with. Okay, got you. Totally know who RN is. That's another cat that's out there that we haven't even touched bases with. Soaring Energy, that statement of hers, Lawrence, subscribe that came out today. I know they made her write that. That statement of hers, Lawrence, this subscribe that came out today. I know they made her write that. Interesting, Soaring Energy. By day one means Savannah's husband PR company. Wow. So last week, Savannah encouraged Nancy's friends to continue to not give interviews and talk about Nancy. Interesting. I had no idea. Thank you for sharing that information. Appreciate that, Soren Energy. Mary says that means nothing. Fan, flower, that is the weirdest game ever. I've never played it, never even heard of it, to be honest. Mary says yes, spearing. Mary, Soren, sorry. Cat Lady, Sue Ellen is very suspicious to me. No doubt. No doubt. Very suspicious to a lot of people. No doubt. That is true. That goes without saying. Click that like, everybody. Click that heart. Click that heart. Click the like. Click those emojis. Let's make it happen, everybody. Let's get that algorithm back up again. Sue Ellen 2. Sue Ellen 2. Yes, Cat Lady. She never turned her cameras over to law enforcement, and she has a bunker, which I have no idea what that is, and so does Annie. Interesting. Well, someone was saying that she could have been in a bunker. I remember that when Nancy was first taken. Someone was saying there was a lot of bunkers built back in the day when I don't know if it was in during World War One or whatnot, but something about they built a lot of bunkers for safety in case they were attacked, that they would have somewhere to hide, something to that effect. Um, but yeah, that is very interesting, everybody, no doubt. And you're right, I didn't hear that she ever turned her cameras into anybody. Uh, and you know what, Alley Cat was on here a while back. She's not here right now; she has bronchitis. But Alley Cat was saying that and she was right that if they wanted to get a subpoena to subpoena her video cameras, they could. And when I looked into that, absolutely, she was right. They can subpoena those her videos. All they have to do is articulate why that camera might have a suspicious vehicle or vehicles on it during the time when Nancy was taken, and they could actually subpoena. And most judges will grant that. If they see that, they will grant that. Um, but they have to articulate it correctly. It's because the standards of a subpoena is different than a search warrant. You don't need the same uh, uh, criteria. Probable cause. The probable cause is not needed for a subpoena. It's just needed for literally a search warrant. So that is why they could, if they really wanted to, nanos could end up subpoena her cameras, and they wouldn't have no. She couldn't say no. But well, go look at it now. He's not going to do that. No doubt about it. He's not going to subpoena that cameras for her to turn over her cameras. Why didn't they then, cat lady? Why didn't they then? That's the whole point. They can, they can absolutely go ahead and subpoena those cameras. They just haven't, and probably why they haven't, cat lady. I mean, don't make me say it out loud. Maybe there's some nefarious stuff going on behind the scenes, which probably is a lot of the scenes in what we're dealing with at the Catalina foothills. No doubt about it. That is a fact. Didi, I was just looking on Facebook and R posted something a week ago. What did he post? Can you tell us what he posted? Fill us in, Marianne. Cat lady, it's a crime. She should have gave them her footage, in my opinion. No, they could subpoena him. They could subpoena them. She should have done it just as a neighbor, a good neighbor. But the idea that she didn't, all the sheriff has to do is subpoena those cameras, and he can get those cameras. The key question is what you said earlier. Why hasn't he done it? That's the $1 million question. No doubt about it. April, you haven't watched Faithful Servant 777 and the video he has put together. It shows first 40 days of the streamer's footage. It shows a lot of Sue Ellen's home and the prices of some others in the area. Patty cakes. People of the desert are called coyotes. They know the desert. That is true. That is true too. People who bring people across the border are also called coyotes. Coyotes. In Spanish, it'd be coyotes. But yeah, I follow you. I hear you. You're right about that, Patty cakes. The video of the guy walking the dog that JLR had, but from Doug. But from Doug. The video of the guy walking the dog that JLR had, but from Doug. Right, right. I follow you. So yeah, I mean, there was a comment made earlier. I think it was by Marianne. Yeah, Marianne, very shady, no doubt. Uh, Somebody said something that I said, hey, let me know. I really want to know where this game ever. Trying to go back and read it, but Marianne says shady. Why didn't they then? Because there may be some shady stuff going on between those individuals. Marianne, I was looking for. Okay, that's the one. Marianne, you said Didi. I was looking for Facebook, and R posted something a week ago. So he does have a Facebook. Can you share with us what he stated or what he posted? The video of the guy. Oh, that's what he posted. The video of the guy walking the dog that JLR had, but from the. I got you. I got you. Okay, I follow you. Interesting. Interesting. Almost like, that's when you start looking at those little things and you start going, okay, why would he do this? Well, he knows everybody's talking about it, right? For a while there, everybody was talking about that dog and that individual walking the dog, how he looked like he could be the porch guy or he could be literally R. So then R goes ahead and you're saying posted that from Doug's live. He posted that. Interesting, because why would he do that unless he wants to grab everybody's goat, as they say, or he wants to strike a nerve with everybody, or he wants to get back on a platform. He wants somebody to reach out to him to say, hey, come talk to me. I'll give you a platform. I'm just saying that man probably is not all there. Um, but that's another person of interest that I would literally talk to. Not saying he did anything, not saying he's guilty of anything, But every comment that he made, absolutely, he is high on the list as a person to speak to. Don't know what they have, don't know what they will, but I'm just telling you, that's like 11 people now we have talked about that probably, in my opinion, would be very solid people of interest to speak to. Mary says Lauren's dog looks identical to his dog. Wow. I'd have to check that out. Thank you for that information. Thank you, Marianne, Marianne for that information as well. Marianne and Mary, thank you both. April, there is my email, everybody. April just posted my email. If you want to send me an email or a clip or video to watch or any information you want to run by, send it to me. There is my email. Soaring Energy, what is ours? Facebook, says Soaring Energy. What is his Facebook handle there, Marianne? I mean, what is this? What is his Facebook uh, name, if you don't mind me asking, or in this case, Soaring Energy asking? I think maybe Marianne is looking it up right now. Let us know, Marianne. What is his Facebook handle? Soaring Energy. Okay. Marianne said, never mind, I'm wrong. I put it in R and those videos came up. Sorry. No problem. No problem. What a web we have weaved today. Great stream and chat. No doubt about it, April. No doubt about it. Awesome people. Awesome new people. Awesome people in general. Once again, big shout out. Big shout out to all of you for you guys are amazing, and for the 5 free memberships that were given. That is so awesome. The faithful servant, good evening. Oh, what's going on, faithful servant? Good to have you. Very much appreciated there, Buttercup. Thank you so much for those 5 memberships. I know that everybody appreciates it. I know I appreciate it, and thank you for being here. Ours, Facebook is gone. Ah, interesting. Well, that happened pretty damn quick. Hello, faithful, says April. Thank you, Mary. The faithful servant just chilling like a villain. I ain't heard that one in a long time there. The faithful servant chilling like a villain. That's a throwback from the past, no doubt. The faithful servant says, hi, April. Raw. No, you guys have been awesome, man. Hey, I want to give an update too. There's not anything new. It's just letting you know there's nothing new right now. Still waiting. I looked up again with uh, Joanna Ruth Shields from Carlsbad, California, the one that was unalive, and still nothing. They're still waiting uh, on the DNA and on the toxicology report. So as soon as I hear something, I will definitely bring that to you. And nothing new on what's going on over here with Spencer and Monique Tepe and her ex husband who unalived them. TJ says, hey, DD and Chad. TJ's in the house. Gregory, what are we talking about, Double Dog? Well, you were on earlier. You should know, my friend. You should know what we were talking about. All about where's Nancy? People of interest. People who could have literally fit the narrative. Now we just brought up the Carlsbad. Used to live in Carlsbad, California in the 80s, says a faithful servant. I was very close to it. I lived in San Diego, was in the Marine Corps, literally stationed at Camp Pendleton right outside of Oceanside. Next thing out other than Oceanside is Carlsbad. He used to drive through there all the time. The faithful servant says, yep, no doubt. Loved it in California. I loved it in California. I loved the fast pace. I loved it. Yeah, there's a lot of information out there right now. Then we talk about R, bringing that Mary Ann brought up R, but then you have Joanna Shields, who was unalive, right? And she's only like 60 to 70 miles away from R, where R lives. Think about that for a minute. Is this a coincidence? From the Big Sur area where Johanna Shields was unalive is only 60 to 70 miles away from where that happened. Is that a coincidence? Is that a coincidence that R lives that close to where that happened? That's like 12 people we talked about that should be talked about, that should be interviewed by the police, in my opinion. Just telling you. You can't make this stuff up, everybody. The faithful servant says prices are too high, would never go back. Oh, I loved it. I wouldn't go back to live there because you're right. It's so expensive. If you're not born and raised there, then it's almost hard to become a transplant unless you hit the lottery or something, or came into a big sum of money, like a ransom or something, Very possible. But short of something like that, yeah, it's hard to move there and become a transplant unless you have those type of funds. No doubt. I had to throw that in there. But that's the whole thing. I mean, that's literally is the whole thing. The idea that I loved it there, but I wouldn't want to raise a family there. I wouldn't want to. I mean, you know, I just love it there. I love that. Best place I ever lived was there, in my opinion. But on to Nancy. So yeah, so now with R being brought up, that's like 11 people. You know, I mean, is there people out there? Yes. Is there people that need to be talked to? Hell yes. And I'm sure there's a few more that we haven't even covered. Band members of T, band members of T. Uh, um, you know, the promoter who promotes uh, uh, D DC's music, who gives him like signs up venues, okay, where they will be playing at, is Mijito, okay, and he does it for not only DC, but he also does it for the band of T. Yes, that T. Tommaso. He's a promoter. So that would almost put for sure a connection between DC, Tommaso, and literally um, Mojito, because that's their promoter for music. So when we ask where is the affiliation and the connection, there it is right there. There it is, in my opinion. What a web they weave. No doubt about it. I mean, think about that. Because remember, we were trying to figure out what I was saying, that we got to have a connection. Sure as heck, sure enough, came out. Yes, that's the promoter of both of them. I don't know if he still does it, but I know he was a promoter. You could go back and look at the events, and you could see who the promoter of the events were, and who he promoted for. Two of the bands he promoted for a lot of people, but two of the bands were Tommaso's and Kaleha. You follow me? So you just can't make this stuff up, everybody. Soren Energy says, "Yep, you are right, DD." I mean, and I have read, and I don't know this to be factual, but I have read this and I've heard this, that there is an affiliation with Kaleha and with LD. Now, you go back a little bit further and you'll say, well, KD, she does tattoo, and she did a lot of tattooing when Mojito, the promoter, had gigs that he was doing, like these balls and these fetish places and whatnot. Okay, these type of events, she would be there to do tattooing for people. Well, if she was doing tattooing for people, she has to be a part of that group of Mojito, which is a part of that satanic group. I know I'm going back there, Marianne. Just bear with me. So now, so now, because she had an affiliation with LD, well, LD had to know what was going on, right? I mean, let's be realistic. And for Mojito to play at venues for uh, for Kaleha to play at venues for Mojito, and for TC or T to play uh, at venues for Mojito, well, they had a cross pass. There has to have been a connection of crossing paths. It would be too. You would have to say, "Oh, it's just coincidental." BS. There is no such thing. I'm done with the coincident BS. There has to be a connection there, not because I say so, but because that's how they're all connected. So that whole freaking system, that whole freaking group, for the most part, in my opinion, are affiliated in one way or the other. Just follow the picture, follow the connections, follow the tentacles where they all meet. TJ says they don't let people know what they are doing. The faithful servant says, I'm going to dive deep in Kayla Day and the Satanic. Do that, because I did. I did dive deep. And I went back to her Instagram. Okay, I went back to Kayla's Instagram that talked about she did tattooing at Mojito's events. I saw it myself. I know that's a fact that what I read. So the idea is it would be just logical to know that LD, who has been reported to be with Kayla, has to know what they did there, has to know this group of people. It would be common sense. It would be common sense, right? If that is the case, it would be common sense. And then if you go with that affiliation a little bit further with Kaleha and TC, they were the promoter. Mojito was their promoter in music, getting them venues to play from Los Angeles to Tucson to Phoenix, you name it. So they had to know what he was about. I mean, if you haven't seen pictures of Mojito, it's not hard to see the guy and say, you don't remember that face. Okay, let's be real here. When you see pictures of this person, you can see why there's a connection of the, for a better lack of words, a satanic cult movement and this man. And then it's like it's like if it's like knowing somebody, right? And then being affiliated because you know him, but you, in order to know him, you have to know what he's about. You're not just gonna be blind and say, all I want to know is just give me the gigs. That's all. I don't want to see anything else. No. And you may even partake in that, for that matter, if you want to be honest. People may even partake in that. Just saying. But I've done a dive on Kayla, and I pulled up those pictures and I've seen them myself. Okay? And now that she's in jail, I highly doubt she would have took them off. So you can see her business that she owned, Kayla owned, in tattooing, and then read where she would, what places she would go to do tattooing. It's common sense, folks. Soaring energy, you got to go there, DD, to explain it clearly. You are right. I mean, I'm just telling you, I've done it. I've looked at it. So there is an affiliation with most of all these people. I'm not gonna say all, but most of all these people. There's an affiliation there. That's what's sickening, is that they're all. And you know what? You go look at that porch guy. I mean, out of probably, I would say, out of the 11 people that we have discussed that were possible people of interest, out of the 11, maybe 12, God only knows. Well, throw in Mojito in there. But out of the 11 people that we discussed, literally, okay, I would say probably 9 to 10 people, maybe more, like 9 of those people could easily be the porch guy. Think about that for a minute. 9 of them have that same build, that same look, that same face structure, that same long head, whether it's a female or male. They could literally be the porch person. That a coincidence? I don't know. I'm just calling it the way I see it. TJ, we know they're all connected. I mean, it would be too crazy to think that they're not connected. You would have to go out of your way to paint the picture that they are not all affiliated in some way, shape, or form, in my opinion. The faithful servant says, think Richard Olette is a suspect. He definitely is a person of interest. He definitely needs to be spoken to by the investigating team, whoever's investigating this case, because he made some pretty clear information. He gave information, specifics. Now, it's not what he said that makes him a person of interest. Okay, let me be clear of that. It's not what he said that makes him a person of interest. Okay, it's if you go and check the lake where he said how she was dismembered, how where she was put, who did it, why they did it, and you go and you rate that lake where he says she's at, her remains are at, and you rate the lake and you find it, then those things that he said clearly, okay, those details that he gave literally puts him at the point of the main suspect because he told you exactly where she was at. You can verify that by raking the lake. That's why raking the lake was so important. Now, if he doesn't, if you find nothing and you rake the lake and you find nothing down there, okay, you send your scuba team and you look and there's no evidence of anything. Well, then he's out of the equation. He's no longer in the picture. But that's how you can validate if his information is legit or not. So he can go from someone who is just giving detailed information to become a literally solid lead. Or he can become a person who gave detailed information who is just another hoax. It's that simple. It is that simple. It becomes, what are you willing to do to search out that information as a possible number one suspect or just a hoax? Sunflowers in the house. Are you joining JR, Nick, Ted, all searching Saturday? I don't live by there, so I can't be there. I would love to be there. I would love to go out there to the Catalina foothills. But to answer your question, no, I won't be there. But I'll definitely be covering what they're doing, and I'll definitely be joining them as far as on their lives. So yes, I wish I could be there, Sunflower. I want to be there. Hey, I think I could bring a lot to the table. Make no mistake. I don't shy away from my skills. I think I could bring a lot to the table. The problem is that it's just a tad way from where I'm at. So I can't just pick up and drop everything and just go on a whim. But I would love to. Just saying. But thank you for that question, Sunflower. If you are new to the channel, become a subscriber. I'm telling you, this is about common sense and about literally information that makes perfect freaking sense. Okay? And it's all just common sense and my law enforcement experience that I'm trying to get you guys to see where I see. That's just basically it. But I hope you guys do join. If you're not joined, join. Kudos to all the other JLR, Nick, Ted, and everybody that's searching. Good to I hope they find something because the main goal in everything is what? Is to get Nancy back to her family. Get her remains or get her personally back to her family. Like Savannah said, either celebrate a life well lived or celebrate the fact that she's home. Either or. Either or. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm all about. And I'm just trying to use all the tools that I have learned in my life in law enforcement to know and try to figure this out, just like every other person out there, especially your law enforcement personnel. Just saying. TJ says FBI does silent searches and don't let their moves be known, especially with Nano. Oh, I agree with that. I bet that's true. Soren Energy says all in the same circle. There's no doubt in my mind, Soren Energy. No doubt in my freaking mind. Maybe one or two will slip out, but as a whole, no doubt in my mind. TJ says, oh yeah, I've seen them. I am Kelt says, hey, Double Dog, what's going on? I am. What's happening? Good to have you in the house. Sauce, read a piece the other day who said someone in communications world is heading all this and the majority we talked about tonight are involved. Go figure. Go figure, everybody. Also, she's buried 7 miles from home. Don't know. Go figure. Everybody we covered is all mentioned. Doesn't surprise me. I told you before and I'll tell you again. I know that we're right on the money on a lot of these things. We just don't have that integral piece. We don't have, just like the FBI. Now, we're just here. I'm just here giving this, right? Giving you guys this info. But here's the thing. Even Pima County Sheriff's Office, detectives, some of the FBI may not even have this information. So my take is, if you're working on this case and you are in law enforcement and you are having a hard time with this information, how do you expect everybody else to get it right? But I do believe wholeheartedly with my heart and soul that we're right on top of it. We're there. It's just a matter of can we finish it off at the end. And that's not going to be something what we are going to be able to do as a collective group. That's going to have to be something that FBI and the investigating people who are investigating this case are going to have to bring it home. Okay? Because we don't have that power to bring it home. We have the power to put out information out there. They have the power to bring it home. And that has to be understood. I look for article. Thank you, Sauce. I am Kel says, can't stay. Sorry, glad I caught alive. Thank you, I am Kel. Appreciate you. God bless you. TJ Wheeler, the lake was clean and checked in March, supposedly. You know, I don't know what they do to check the lake or clean the lake. I don't know what the process is. But this is all I'll say to that, TJ. Because I've heard this also, and I think Mary Ann has brought this up as well. All I will say is this. If you didn't send divers in that lake, you did not check the lake. If you did not send divers down that lake, scuba divers, okay, every law enforcement knows, either has them or knows people who, groups who do that. If you did not send the divers down there to search that lake wasn't checked, in my opinion. Because that, just the statement of that lake was cleared and checked in March, I don't think it was cleared it was probably cleaned. Or I'm sorry, you said cleaned. It was probably cleaned. But what constitutes clean? Is it just throwing some chemicals in there? Is it just getting the debris away? I don't know what constitutes clean, right? As for and checked, well, what are you checking for? Are you checking for what? Are you taking test tubes, checking the water levels, taking, seeing where everything's at, the intake of different toxic stuff that's in there? Is that what you're checking? Because the reality is, if you did not check the lake with divers going down there, as far as I'm concerned, that lake has never been checked. So if someone could say, yeah, they literally sent divers down there and they were able to look and they were able to see and they checked it from top to bottom and there's nothing there, then I'll buy that. But that's only if that's what they did. Anything else short of sending divers on there, yeah, it's not a check, in my opinion. But thank you, appreciate that. And I know you were just letting us know that you believe that it was cleaned and checked. I just don't know what that terminology "cleaned and checked" means, because if it's not looking for the bodies with divers, nothing was checked. Cleaning possibly, but nothing was checked. I wonder who will be the star of the humiliation ritual that is coming. Nanos A&T. A&T, Savannah, who? That's interesting. It'll be time will tell, my friend. Time will tell. We are here for Nancy Gronsky. Bakati. Bakati's in the house. Harry Krishna. Well, how you doing, Bakati? Fortunately, I think I know who that is, Harry Krishna. Unreal. AZ Vato 69, been a long time daily lurker to have stopping by to get your props. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. God bless you and simplify, my brother. Appreciate you. Don't hesitate to go ahead and sign up, man. Be a member in the chat. I'm telling you, this is legit. Everything I'm telling you, everybody here can will tell you that this information that I'm giving you, to me, is just very crucial. And I know every other streamer is giving a lot of good information, solid information, not taking anything away from anybody. But I know what I bring to the table. And I am telling you right now, this information is solid. You know. But thank you, AZ Vato. I appreciate you and I appreciate you stopping by. Please don't hesitate to join, my friend. Soaring Energy, I know one thing. I have screenshots and chains being connected to something in that lake. Yeah, I think a lot of us saw that with Sleuth. No doubt about it. You got it, Vato. Appreciate you, my brother. Patty Cakes, do you have dogs that smell on water? I think they do have some. I don't know how depth it goes, though. I've heard that there is dogs that can scent like like maybe like a clothing off of someone, right? For all sake and purposes, Nancy, a piece of clothing, they could get the scent and then go. I just don't know what the level is, the depth perception of how far they can scent. That's what I'm saying. Send in the divers and you got everything solved. Very good question, Patty Cakes. Thank you. Gronsky, we are staying positive in a difficult situation. No doubt about it, Gronsky. No doubt about it. Soaring, agree. Seen some of the screenshots. Marianne, I heard that the lake was cleaned and checked for someone that works in the lake. Right. And I remember you saying that. I just don't know, what does that mean, cleaned and checked? What does that mean, Marianne, cleaned and checked? I mean, what did they check for? And what did they clean? What constitutes a clean and a check? That's the question that we all need to know, because cleaning and checked and clean could mean That's like open-ended. That is literally open-ended. What I want is to hear somebody went down in the lake. Some divers went down in the lake and they searched for Nancy's remains. That would make sense to me. Just saying. Soaring energy is 30 feet land to water, 30 feet down from the land. There you go. Yeah, that's I don't know if they can go. I don't know if they can go further than that or to that. I'm not sure. I know cadaver dogs can't smell. I just don't know the level. Sunflower, according to the sleuth video, there's shovels, metals, and everything down in that one lake. I mean, and that's not by accident, I don't think. I mean, unless that's just a shithole where everybody throws their stuff in, right? For a better lack of words. I don't think that literally, that's not by coincidence. The dogs in the Bahamas, that was okay, got you, Soren. Thank you for clearing that. So the dogs that were in the Bahamas looking for the hookers, the name of the couple, I just know them by their last name, hookers. The lady that fell off the little boat, I forgot what they call that little dinghy, and floated away. So apparently, just drifted away, and the husband couldn't find her, and then they still haven't found her, to my understanding. So that idea, yes, 30 feet. So that would be about right. So I don't know how far that is. If it's 40 feet, 45 feet, you know what I mean. Once again, I would say this: what's the harm of just sending the divers in there? This is what they do. These divers, this is what they do. This is what they live for. Hell, you could probably find a group in a city of divers that work for a PD that would do this voluntarily because they love to have a reason to go dive. That's why they dive, right? So you would think they would just send a diving team in there and get her done. You know what I mean? I mean, why is that so difficult? Soaring energy, the dogs in the Bahamas, that was their depth. Interesting. Thank you for pointing that out, my friend. Well, I guess when you're nanos and you know where Nancy is and who did it, and no need to send the divers. Yeah, that goes without saying, no doubt about it. Truth to that, no doubt about it, Soaring Energy. That is a fact. That is a fact. Awesome. What a great chat. What a great live. You guys are just amazing, man. And I don't say that just saying that. Like I said, I don't dance unless I hear music. I sure as hell, not going to say anything I don't mean to say. Okay, but I will tell you, you guys are one hell of a group, no doubt about it. April, thanks for joining us this evening. Like and subscribe and share. Get Dee Dee's name out there on other streams. Much appreciated. Great chat tonight with you all. There's the email to my email. Send it to me, everybody. Sunflower, the Adventures has been driving for years and free finding bodies in cars for decades. They have underwater drones. Anything like that would work, Sunflowers. Anything like that would work. The fact of the matter is, why haven't they done it? Now, I get it. Some people will say, well, R is not all there. He's a little nut. He's a little crazy. He's 2 fries short of a Happy Meal. A couple of nuggets are missing from his Happy Meal. I get all that. But here's the thing you have to remember. This is a big profile case. If you are the sheriff and someone gives you specifics and it's that easy to check that lake to see if in fact there is a body there, you could eliminate that in a heartbeat. And then this person who claims to be sane in R is either someone of very importance or someone who's just a hoax. But one thing's for sure is that lake can then be determined it was checked for Nancy's remains, and nothing was found. It's just that simple. I mean, maybe I look at things as a lot simpler than others. I'm just saying. Soaring Energy, thank you, April and DD. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and end this chat. We've been on there for almost 3 hours. Just want to tell you guys, love you all. Appreciate you all coming out. Appreciate all your comments, all your takes, all your views. Here in this channel, everybody has a view. Everybody has a take. Everybody has an opinion. And everybody's opinion matters. Simple as that. You know? Just because I'm doing these streams doesn't make that it's just me. It's all of you. You guys are making this channel grow. You guys are what's making it happen. People know who we are, and it's going to get out even more. So just pass the word, share it to your friends, your followers, your subscribers, your streams that you go on to, and this is just moving fastly. I will tell you that. Marianne, have a great night, Marianne. God bless you. Growski, good night. God bless you. Everybody, have a great night. Enjoy your night. I'll be back more than likely tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'll see you all then. With that, Semper Fi, everybody. Remember, it's all common sense. Good night, everybody.